everybody and welcome to our channel. If you're new, you're so welcome. My name is Jane and my husband Michael is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, debt and mortgage free and living a thrifty, frugal and money saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And as it's Christmas, we have made some extra videos for you this year. Some thrifty, easy to make, certainly not expensive recipes from our house to yours, and we really hope that you enjoy them. Let me talk through my ingredients for my extra special Christmas sausage rolls. I'm going to make a gluten-free pastry, which is not easy to use on a sausage roll, but nonetheless I'm going to give it a good go. So I've bought gluten-free bread flour. I'll be using xanthum gum, egg and butter in my pastry. I'm going to make two kinds of sausage rolls. Some will have chorizo chopped up with the sausage meat and some cheese. And I'm also going to, and I might even put a bit of mustard on there as well. And I'm also going to make them with sausage meat, caramelised onion chutney and thyme, and probably a bit of mustard. But in both of them, I'm going to put some grated cheese. It works incredibly well to mix in grated cheese with the sausage meat. It is just absolutely luxurious. And with the chorizo, I'm going to add hard Italian grated cheese. Now if you're in the UK and you buy sausage meat or sausages, it will have some kind of a rusk in it, which really stops all the fats from just running out over the tray. And I can't buy that here. Our sausages are just 100% pork, that's all they are. So I'm going to crush up some gluten-free crackers in mine and add it into my sausage meat. It makes it go a little bit further, and like I said, it also it keeps the meat and all the ingredients together. I'm showing you some of the cheese I've got here today. I've got mule, which is similar to, I don't know, it's a hard cheese. It's a good hard cheese, it's a good strong taste. My favourite French cheese, and it is a bit expensive, but it is great because it's you know, we're making this for Christmas. So that's Comte, and like I said, this is very affordable to add into cooking, is the grated hard Italian cheese. And of course, the French sausages. These are very large Toulouse French sausages, and they're very spicy and they're garlicky and they're really, really delicious. And then I have here I have a mild chorizo sausage, but I'm going to chop that up and add that in. So first of all, I think I'll make my pastry. I make my pastry in my food processor. In here I have got 500 grams of gluten-free flour. You would just use regular flour. And I have 250 grams of butter and 1 teaspoon of salt. Because I'm making this with gluten-free flour, I have added 2 teaspoons of xanthum gum. If you're making regular pastry, you won't need the xanthum gum. Now you can see I've used butter, but you can use vegetable butter, you can use any solid cooking spread, anything like that you want. Also, it's really good for pastry if you can get lard and make it with lard, so that's really good. So I'm going to blend this until it's like breadcrumbs, and then I'm going to add a mixture of beaten egg and cold water to make it into the dough. Because it's gluten-free, I'll make it a bit softer and a bit, I would say I would add a bit more fluid when I'm making gluten-free pastry. So here is the pastry. I added 2 eggs beaten with some water, probably 1/4 cup of water, and you can see the texture of it now. It's quite wet. It's quite wet. So I want my pastry to be quite pliable and easy to roll. So I'm going to form that into a bowl. I will form that into a ball and pop that in my fridge for about 30 minutes to half an hour to make it easier to work. Let me show you my prepared ingredients. So on this side over here, I've got 2 of the sausages and I've removed the skins. I crushed up the crackers in a plastic bag with a rolling pin, and that's half the crackers in there. I've then got half that comped cheese that you saw and grated it. This is some homemade caramelised onion chutney. I'll put the recipe for that, or the link to the recipe for that, below. I have some whole grain mustard, and some thyme. Now I'm going to combine all of that with a little of the caramelised onion chutney. And when I roll the pastry out, you'll see I put a little bit more onto the pastry. So that's one lot of sausages. Over here, I have the same again. I have the sausage and the breadcrumbs made from the gluten-free crackers. And here I've chopped up half the chorizo sausage that you saw. And I have back here about 1/4 cup of hard Italian cheese. And I'm going to add this to it because this was open in the fridge and it goes really well with sausage, it goes well with cheese. And that's some pesto. You don't have to add pesto, but I will add a spoonful of pesto, and then on the pastry I will put a very thin layer of pesto there. If you put too much chutney in this on the pastry or too much pesto on this, it'll all just run out anyway. So you just want to put a bit on there. So I'm going to get mixing. I've rolled out my gluten-free pastry. I'm going to transfer the first ones, which is the pork, the comped, the caramelised onion chutney and the thyme. So I want to flip the pastry over, and I'll do this one as well. You see, they are generous. This is what I mean. You could make this and cut it into 2 and have 1 each as a meal. So I'm going to trim my pastry a little bit. Give it a little bit of egg glue. I almost forgot then. I'm going to add in a little bit of the caramelised onion chutney. Not too much. I've done this before, I've been really generous, and it's all just squidges out. A bit more onion there. I've made this before as well, where I have fried onion until it's got brown and caramelised. So I have my flat knife to make sure it's not stuck to the table, because gluten-free pastry is a nightmare. Yours will be much easier than mine if you don't need to use gluten-free pastry. And there we go. I'm just going to roll it over, catch it underneath. A bit of flour under there. I'm going to trim the ends. Make sure I've got some egg there to glue it. I don't want it to come undone. Literally press it into the egg. And then I will cut it into sections. It's quite nice to do it at an angle. I'll show you the one, and I'll do this with the others as well. I'll just trim the ends. I'll pop it onto a baking tray that has baking paper on it, because I do not want these to stick. People are going to ask me, do these freeze? Yeah, they freeze well. You could put them in the freezer like this, and actually then just take them out of the freezer and pop them straight in the oven. Let's trim this pastry up a little bit here. Here's my egg glue. My flat knife to make sure it's not stuck underneath to the table. Gluten-free cooks will say, oh yeah, that happens. And pop it over. Press it down on it so it doesn't come undone. They are big. Like I said, these are extra special Christmas sausage rolls. These are going to go into the oven at 200 degrees centigrade. I'll get Mike to pop on the screen what that is in Fahrenheit, because I haven't got a clue. These, you can actually squidge it all together and just pop it on the tray, and it becomes a lovely dog treat. Let's just show you what I do with these to make them extra special for Christmas time. Get completely glazed. Make sure they're glazed all over. Then I sprinkle them with poppy seeds, and I'll do the rest. And I'll do that to the chorizo sausage and pesto as well. And I'll show you how I put the pesto on the pastry. Here are the finished sausage rolls. So these are with the pork sausage, with the chorizo, the grana padano and the pesto in them. I'm trying to get up close so you can see the pastry, even though it's gluten-free, it does try and flake a bit because the butter was cold. And then these are the pork sausage with the Comte cheese, the caramelised onion chutney, and a bit of thyme in those. I also put in a spoon of mustard in those as well. And you can see, I'm going to pick one up here. They are very hot. Ouch! And you can see the poppy seeds on top. They really are great for a Christmas buffet. Now we'll have a couple of these tonight because it's Saturday night, and we'll have a couple to eat. For the rest we can just pop in the freezer. And if you put them in a freezer, and you can just take out a few as and when you need them. Just warm them very gently in just a low oven, and they're absolutely fine. And when you warm them up, you can sprinkle a bit of grated cheese on top of these for even more luxurious, affordable, because they're homemade Christmas treats. Thank you so so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, could you hit the like button please? We love all of your comments and we read every single one of them. From Mike and I, thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.